How far would you go to protect your privacy? Imagine waking up one day to find out that the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia hacked your phone and your data is available on dark web. That's exactly what happened to the owner of the Washington Post. Jeff Bezos, the owner of the Washington Post newspaper and founder of the company Amazon, engaged FTI Consulting to check his phone in February 2019 after the National Enquirer reported details of Bezos's affair in January 2019. In January 2020, FTI claimed that in May 2018, the phone of Jeff Bezos was hacked by a file sent from the WhatsApp account of the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. Join me as we delve into the shocking allegations and their implications. The story begins with the Washington Post newspaper, which was purchased by Jeff Bezos in September 2013 for $250 million. Exactly 4 years later, in September 2017, the Washington Post published a series of columns by Jamal Khashoggi. Khashoggi was a Saudi Arabian journalist, columnist, and author known for his criticism of the Saudi government and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, also known as MBS in international media. Jamal was also a former advisor to the Saudi royal family. He gained international prominence for his work as a journalist, including his columns for the Washington Post, where he often criticized Saudi Arabia's policies, particularly regarding human rights, freedom of speech, and the government's crackdown on dissent. In April 2018, Bezos attended a small dinner with MBS and exchanged WhatsApp numbers. Bezos and bin Salman proceeded to exchange friendly messages. Tragically, Khashoggi was killed in October 2018 inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey. He was ambushed and strangled by a 15-member squad of Saudi operatives known as the Tiger Squad. If you're not familiar with Khashoggi's killing, here's a brief overview of his murder. On October 2, 2018, news emerged that Jamal was missing after he entered the Saudi consulate for his divorce papers and didn't come out even after the consulate's working hours had ended. Initially, the Saudis claimed that Jamal left the consulate through a back door, but later, on October 20th, the Saudi Foreign Ministry reported that a preliminary investigation showed that Khashoggi had died at the consulate during a fight. However, he was actually killed inside the consulate, his body torn apart with a chainsaw and disposed of in a manner that was never publicly revealed. The consulate had been secretly bugged by the Turkish government, and Khashoggi's final moments were captured in audio recordings. Transcripts of these recordings, subsequently made public by Turkish intelligence agencies, proved Saudi involvement. Transcripts of the Turkish recordings reveal that it was a premeditated murder, with the hit team using a bone saw to dismember his limbs while he was alive. The cold-blooded murderers listened to music while cutting the body. Some sources claimed that Jamal's body was set on fire, based on accounts from people living near the Saudi embassy who reported an unusual barbecue party on that day. Jamal's finger was carried back to Saudi Arabia by the Tiger Squad as proof of his murder, along with video recordings of his killing. The killing of Jamal sparked global outrage and raised serious questions about freedom of the press and human rights violations. In response to international criticism, Saudi Arabia announced that it would give Khashoggi's 4 children million-dollar houses and monthly 5-figure payments as compensation for the killing of their father. Washington Post reporting became increasingly critical of the role of the Saudi regime and bin Salman in the murder. While the Washington Post continued its reporting against Saudi Arabia and MBS, Saudi social media and royal-controlled media started a campaign against Amazon, the Washington Post, and Jeff Bezos himself. Amazon Saudi Arabia was losing money due to the online campaign, prompting Mr. Bezos to call a meeting and request a deep investigation into the issue in November 2018. Meanwhile, his PR team was also receiving negative feedback from the Arab world. One day, they arranged a meeting with Mr. Bezos and presented a report describing the reasons behind Amazon's revenue decline in Saudi Arabia and the poor reputation of the Washington Post and Mr. Bezos in the Arab world. This meeting was private and similar to the routine presentations Mr. Bezos often received from his personal and business teams. However, later that evening, Bezos was surprised when he received a message on WhatsApp from MBS stating, "Dear Jeff, all that you hear or are told is not true, and it's a matter of time until you know the truth." There is nothing against you or Amazon from me or Saudi Arabia. Initially, Bezos wondered about this message, but then thought that MBS might have heard from his team about the campaign against Amazon and Jeff Bezos and simply wanted to clarify his position. This was not the only incident. A similar occurrence happened when Jeff had an argument one evening with his ex-wife, Mackenzie Scott, just before their divorce. Later that night, he received a message from MBS that contained a commonly known joke: arguing with a woman is like reading the software license agreement. In the end, you have to ignore everything and click I agree. The uncommon aspect of this joke was that it was sent as a photo with a black and white picture of a woman in the background that surprisingly resembled his wife. However, Jeff again thought it was a coincidence and didn't consider that his phone might have been hacked, as he didn't think the most powerful person in a strong country would do such a thing personally. On April 4, 2019, the divorce between Jeff Bezos and Mackenzie Scott was announced to the public. After that, many investigative journalists came up with different reasons for why this divorce happened. Later, in January 2019, the National Enquirer released a report revealing Bezos's extramarital affair with Lauren Sanchez. They claimed that Mackenzie separated from Bezos after learning about this affair. They also leaked personal chats between Bezos and Lauren. After this, Bezos became suspicious. After that, he asked his close friend and security specialist Gavin DeBecker to lead an investigation into how the National Enquirer obtained the information. In February 2019, Bezos wrote a post on Medium, accusing the National Enquirer and its parent company, American Media, Inc., AMI, of extortion and blackmail with images of his affair. In the post, Bezos referenced that AMI had been investigated for various actions they've taken on behalf of the Saudi government and stated that the Washington Post's reporting on the killing of Jamal Khashoggi is undoubtedly unpopular in certain circles. Later in February 2019, Bezos and DeBecker hired digital forensic experts from FTI Consulting to analyze Bezos's iPhone X. The Wall Street Journal later reported that Bezos did not want to give his phone directly to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, thus he had FTI Consulting do the work. Some FTI Consulting workers previously worked for the FBI. The Wall Street Journal also reported that FTI Consulting communicated with law enforcement officials about their work. In March 2019, DeBecker wrote an article for the Daily Beast, stating that he and his investigators and several experts concluded with high confidence that the Saudis had access to Bezos's phone and gained private information. DeBecker also reported that he had presented details of his investigation to law enforcement officials. Furthermore, he said there was a close relationship between bin Salman and American Media CEO David Pecker. He highlighted that AMI had attempted to have him publicly declare that the investigation into Bezos's phone found that AMI had not used eavesdropping or hacking in their news-gathering process and had demanded his declaration that AMI's story was not influenced in any manner by external forces. Later, FTI Consulting concluded with medium to high confidence that Bezos received the video file from the personal WhatsApp account of MBS on May 1, 2018. Within an hour of watching this video, Bezos's phone started sending kilobytes of data to an unknown location. They thoroughly checked the video and found nothing wrong with the video file itself, but it contained an encrypted downloader that could not be decrypted. FTI experts concluded that the downloader was purposely embedded in the video before sending it to Bezos. The report states that investigators believe bin Salman's advisor, Saud al-Qahtani, obtained the hacking software. After that, the Washington Post articles against the Saudi regime and MBs became more aggressive, and they accused MBs of hacking other people. Following these developments, the Saudi embassy in the USA tweeted, "Recent media reports that suggest the kingdom is behind a hacking of Mr. Jeff Bezos's phone are absurd. We call for an investigation on these claims so that we can have all the facts out." However, there was no official denial from the Saudi royal court or MBs himself. Some researchers link this software to the dark web because, months after this case, some dark web researchers claimed that Bezos and Lauren's personal chats and explicit photos were being sold on several dark web markets. While there was not any official confirmation by Bezos or his team, the events surrounding Jeff Bezos, the Saudi crown prince, and the Washington Post underscore the lengths to which powerful entities will go to control narratives and retaliate against critics. As Bezos'S ordeal reveals, even the most secure individuals can become targets of sophisticated cyber attacks. The revelations of hacking, the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, and the subsequent media and political fallout have profound implications for press freedom, privacy, and international relations. This saga serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities in our digital age and the ongoing struggle for truth and accountability in the face of power. If you found this video interesting, please like the video and subscribe our channel for more stories from the void.